Littledean Tower near Maxton in the Scottish borders dates from the 16th century, although it's known there was an earlier structure at the site. It overlooks the River Tweed and was the stronghold of the Kerrs of Littledean. In 1544, it was attacked by English forces, with the hall and stables severely damaged by fire, although the main house escaped much of the damage, as it had been mured with earth, this being the earlier structure. It was rebuilt in its distinctive D-shaped form we see the ruins of today after this, along with its tower. At 4 stories high, it was built for defensive purposes, as the remaining gun loops attest, but was lived in as a home until the late 18th century, before falling into disrepair. It is believed to have been possibly the birthplace of John Duns Scotus, although other places have made that claim. It was Category B listed on 16th March 1971 by what is now Historic Environment Scotland, but this status was removed on 28th October 2015. It remains a scheduled monument. The Laird of Littledean Tower, Harry Gillis, was fond of hunting. One day he and his dogs were out in the fields, and they were chasing a hare when they suddenly stopped and gave up the chase. The Laird was furious, and he swore the hare had in fact been one of the witches from Maxton. No sooner had he uttered this than the hares appeared all round him, and they were so close to him they even sprang over the saddle on his horse, but still none of his dogs would give chase. Gillis, now beyond angry, jumped down from his horse and killed all of his dogs, except one, on the spot. The one which escaped this fate was a large black dog, who turned and chased after the largest of the hares. Remounting his horse, the Laird followed the chase and saw the black dog turn the hare and drive it towards him and his horse. The hare made to spring over the horse, but the Laird managed to grab one of its front paws, drew out his hunting knife, and cut the paw off. At this, all the other hares disappeared into the undergrowth and woods. The next morning, the Laird heard that a woman in nearby Maxton had lost her arm in some kind of mysterious accident. The Laird decided to visit her, going straight to her house, where he pulled out the hare's paw from his pocket. Except it was no longer a paw. It was a female hand and arm. It fitted the arm that the woman had lost, so she was arrested, and she confessed she was a witch. On the same day, she was drowned for witchcraft in a well by local Maxton men. Another story associated with Littledean Tower is well known in the area. The tower was known to be haunted by the spirit of an old lady who'd once been the mistress of the house. She was described as being a covetous, grasping woman who was oppressive to the poor. Tradition said she amassed a large sum of money, saving what she could over many years, by both fair means and foul, and now she was dead, it was said her spirit couldn't rest because of her actions in life. Despite knowing the story of the ghost, the tower was inhabited by a laird and his family who were happy there, and weren't too bothered by the tale of the apparition. One Saturday evening, a servant was cleaning her shoes in the kitchen while she was on her own, when she saw an elf light shining on the floor. She stopped what she was doing and gazed at it, and watched as it disappeared before her very eyes, only to reveal an old woman standing in its place, wrapped in a brown cloak. The woman complained of being cold and asked if she could warm herself by the fire. The girl invited her in and told her to sit and get warm. She noticed the woman's shoes were wet and her toes were peeping out of the tips, so offered to dry them and clean them, which she did. The old woman, touched by the servant's kindness, then revealed to her that she was in fact the ghost of the tower. She went on, "My gold wouldn't let me rest, but I'll tell you where it lies." She continued, "'Tis near the lowest step o' the tower stairs. Take the laird there and tell him what I now tell you. Then dig up the treasure and put it in his hands, and tell him to part it in 2 shares. 1 share let him keep, for he's the maester here now. The other share he must part again, and gie half to you, for you're a kind lassie and true, and half he must give to the poor of Maxton, the old folk and the fatherless bairns, and them that need it most. Do this, and I shall rest in my grave, where I have not rested yet, and never will I trouble the house mair till the day o' doom." The girl rubbed her eyes, but when she looked again, the woman was gone. The next morning, the servant took her master to the spot the woman had told her to, and explained what had happened the previous day. The stone was removed, and the gold was discovered and divided exactly as instructed. The laird shared his money with his sons and daughters, while the serving girl became wealthy and married a good husband within a year of its discovery. The poor of Maxton received their money, and never again did they speak ill of the old woman who'd lived in the tower. The tower itself was never troubled by the ghost again. Near Maxton, a small burn runs across the Turnpike Road at a part of it known as Bowrig Bridge, and near this bridge, in a triangular-shaped field, there were numerous reports of 2 women in white pacing up and down. These sightings went on for nearly 100 years, as locals came and watched night after night as the 2 ladies walked side by side. They were always seen at dusk, arm in arm, walking over the same spot until daybreak, when they would disappear. Then, one day, workmen were repairing the road, and when they lifted the large flat stones on the bridge that pedestrians used to cross the burn for decades, they came across 2 female skeletons lying side by side. After the discovery of the remains, the ladies were never seen again. The skeletons were examined, and it was believed they were the sisters of one of the lairds of Littledean Tower. It was said their brother had killed them in a fit of rage, after they stepped in to stop him from having his way with a local girl from Bowrig Bridge. He'd placed their bodies on the bridge, then covered them with the large flat stones. Some years later, he met his own fate near to where his sisters lay. He'd been out riding with his dogs when he fell over the brae opposite the bridge and was found lying dead by the River Tweed. Tradition has it that this was the laird who cut off the paw of the hare, Harry Gillis. If you enjoyed this episode of Scotland's History, please like, comment and subscribe. Until next time, thank you for watching.